he followed me, and I don't know when he started following me, but I was just checking through Norm's page. I said, "Oh, Norm's following me." And he was following at the time, I think, 60 people.
Wow.
And I thought, and I don't know why. I don't know where he saw something.
Was it a mistake?
It wasn't a mistake, a happy mistake if it was.
Yeah.
But I really didn't get it. And so the thing about Twitter is when you each follow each other, you can send private messages. But I said, I was so in awe. I've met plenty of celebrities.
Yeah.
Truly, truly in awe of this man. I said, I don't want to abuse my follow privileges here. I don't want to send him a private message. And one day, he sent out a tweet where he said, I'm just in such pain. It's just so hard. It's so hard. Knowing now that he had been fighting cancer for 10 years secretly,
Bless him.
I now recognize that's what he was talking about. At the time, I read that as, this is an eccentric, wild guy, and maybe he's suicidal. And I said, okay, I'm going to reach out. And I just messaged him, and I said, Norm, I've never messaged you before because I'm simply in awe of your genius, but if I can be of any help in what appears to be a moment of despair, please just let me know. And he writes back, and he says, thank you, Michael. Appreciate the note. I'm okay. But I would like to talk because to not accept your offer would be prideful or something. I said, okay, all right, Norm. And instantly we're talking about religion. And I haven't published these. I mean, when I say these were messages, I mean they became essays that we would write to each other every night for weeks, like 800, 900 word essays in some cases, you know. And
was it what? You trying to convince him of something?
I didn't have to convince him of a thing.
So when you say they were like essays, what were you going back and forth about? Suffering?
Well, I asked him about suffering. I said, Norm, do you have a view of the world, that sort of can help you make sense of this suffering? And he said, oh, yeah, Michael, I know you're a Christian. He said, I've just always known that the Bible is true. I've always known that Christianity is true. And he says, and you can never tell with him because you never know if he's like playing with you because he always played so dumb, but he was so brilliant. And he said, I'm not an educated man, which is true. He's not an educated man in the sense that he never had really formal schooling. He read everything. I mean, he could probably quote you Tolstoy forwards and backwards. But actually one of his most famous jokes is this joke about a moth going into a podiatrist's office.
That's the best joke.
But it's done in the style of The Death of Ivan Ilyich by Leo Tolstoy.
That's right. Yeah.
A lot of people don't get that.
Yes.
But you would have to read so deeply in the Russian novelists to even think to put that joke together. But he says to me, I'm not an educated man. He says, my son is much more educated than I am. He's got schooling. I don't. But I've just always known that it's true. And I thought, well, you're ahead of me, buddy, because I do have some schooling, and I didn't know it was true for years. And it went on for about 2 weeks or so, and I kind of blew it because I didn't write our nightly response one night. And I was just busy, I was traveling, whatever, and then it kind of petered out, and I was sort of kicked myself for it. He was supposed to come on my book show at PragerU, and he'd agreed to do it, but I said, okay, well, Norm, I'm leaving California, so you got to come on this month, basically. And he didn't drive. He was a quirky guy. He'd always send a car for him. And he said, Michael, I'm happy to do it. Can we do it on Skype? I said, no, it's not a Skype show, Norm. It's an in-person show. You got to come in person. He goes, I can't go into a studio right now. And I thought this was him. It was famously somewhat agoraphobic and